Empower your students to be more authentic, impactful writers with Grammarly's
All right, we'll go ahead and get started. We ready? All right, we got our speakers here tonight, and right after this, we're going to have a very short business meeting, very short. So we're going to do the regular, sing a couple of songs, and then we're going to be hearing from our mission team. I'm excited about this, but before we start, do we have any prayer requests that we need to announce? Kim, I seen you. Everything good? We're home. That's a great. We're home. That's good. Anything else? Yes, he's got to be there at 10:30. 10:30. So y'all start praying tonight. So anybody else? I got somebody really special praying for you, Coach Bobo. Real special. Anybody else? Patricia McCormick. Yeah, so, yeah. Anybody else? You thought I was going to say the Pope or something, didn't you? Okay, no, I don't know him. Anybody else before we continue on? We got some that's sick. They sent me a text, so y'all just keep them in your prayers. Don't forget Bible school, and I guess that's about it. All right, you ready? All right, we'll sing a couple, and then we'll turn it over to them. You want this?
Stand with us, page 451.
Well, sorry, I get emotional. It's right there. We're going to watch this video first, right quick. It was recently done by in the midst and some friends of theirs from Ohio.
We started In the Midst Ministries in 2019. When we started this ministry, our whole goal was to live in the midst of the people, living in the community, sharing life with them, being able to be there in their hard times, in their happy times, and just being able to be an example and show them about the love of Christ. The years that we've been here, we've seen at least 500 people come to know Christ. It's changed their life, it's changed the way they live, it's changed the way they think, and we have been able to see God work tremendously in this area. Everything that we've done has always been centered around telling people about Jesus. We currently have 4 church plants throughout all of Honduras. We also have a feeding kitchen where we're feeding around 300 kids a day. We also have John Luke Carver Homes of Hope, which we started building wooden homes. And at the end of each house build, we make sure that we share the gospel of Christ with them.
In 2022, God provided this feeding facility where we now feed children, teachers, and elderly each day, Monday through Friday, and we feed about 60,000 meals each year. The cost is around $325 each day, which around $70,000 per year. We take every opportunity that we can to share the gospel with the children. They learn a Bible verse each week that they're with us. At the end of the school year, they have learned 40 Bible verses.
We've seen a big change in the community since the soup kitchen opened its doors. It means a lot to the children and for the seniors to come to this place where they receive their hard food on schedule. The children are happy to see their favorite foods, and the seniors also.
Mi nombre es Misael Luque. I am the pastor of Brisas del Sur Church in La Ermita. Our primary church is located here in La Ermita. The second is located in Guaymaca. The third church is located in Choluteca, San Jerónimo. And the fourth church is located in the mountains in El Aguacatal, where each church is located, and we have seen the growth in the people and the impact that the gospel has had in each community, where many people have been saved through the gospel of Jesus Christ. Our desire as a ministry is to have more churches planted in Honduras.
I am Pastor Miguel Chavaria, pastor of the Church of San Jerónimo. We have seen the impact the Lord has had on our lives through the message of Jesus Christ, bringing hope and teaching us His love. We have experienced the worship and reverence we owe to Him. We've also been deeply moved by how the hands of Jesus can work through ours, showing mercy, helping families, and offering prayer. We know there is a family in the community that can guide, bless, and stand by them in difficult times. We've made an impact in this way, and people have witnessed the love of Christ through us and how He has transformed our lives and the lives of this community.
My name is Ronnie Alberto Castillo Coca from the city of Guaymaca, where God has placed me to work as pastor of the church in Guaymaca and as pastor in the church of Aguacatal. It is a blessing to have received Christ. Since the day I met my Lord, my life has changed a lot. Thanks to Him, I have been at the forefront, and today I have seen a change not only in my personal life but also in my family. It has been a great blessing in the churches where we pastor here in Aguacatal and also in Guaymaca.
When you have a ministry that is growing as fast as In the Midst is growing, and we're in the process of building a church in San Jerónimo. We're also wanting to buy some land in Guaymaca and build a church there, and feeding 300 people a day brings many challenges, but we are on our third year, and we've seen the faithfulness of the Lord and how He's provided each and every day for us to feed those kids. We love for teams to come down and to see for yourself what the Lord has done in this ministry. It gives you an opportunity to work and serve in our churches, and you're able to come and build houses. There's a place for you to serve here and for you to see for yourself just what the Lord is doing in this ministry. Over the last 6 years since we've started In the Midst Ministries, when we started from nothing and to see what the Lord has done, we are blessed and truly thankful. We give Him all the honor and all the glory. We could not be here if it were not for Him. We ask you to please keep praying for us. We can't do what we do without your prayers. We ask you to consider financial support. It's a huge undertaking every day, but we've seen God provide everything that we needed. If you want to come down on a team, you want to serve, you feel the Lord is calling you to serve in missions, please come down and you can see for yourself just how good God has been to us at In the Midst.
Doing this, I would have told you you were crazy. Now I've been on my 5th one, 3 to Haiti and 2 to Honduras, and I'm planning a 3rd next spring. So if anybody wants to go, just hit me up and we'll work that out. Sorry. It is such a blessing to get to be able to take a team of our church and friends to serve in that community. They are such wonderful people, and there's wonderful people here. Do not get me wrong, we are needed here as well. I do believe in that. But it is just a blessing to take all the ones we took. We had all age ranges, teenagers to plus teenagers. We'll just say it that way. So I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. We had people that were brave enough to eat the food wherever it was at. So nobody got too sick. Everybody, I think, had a good time. We were able to work in the feeding kitchen. We did a medical clinic 2 days. Well, the girls did that. The guys built houses, the other 2 houses. The girls did build 2 houses in one day with the guys, of course. But we even got to learn how to make bread in an outdoor kitchen, which it was very nice, but I'm glad that's not how I have to cook every day. But also, I want to thank everyone here for allowing us to go, for giving as graciously as y'all did. We were able to build 4 houses. We were able to give K through 6 vitamins for 2 months. And we had some other medical needs that were needed there that we supplied. And in their school system, not everybody gets to go to school. For example, I had kindergartners from age 5 to 10. And 6th grade, I think I averaged, on their sheet, they might have been anywhere from 10 to 14. Because they might get to go this year, and the other kid get to go the next year. And so one has to sit out. So it was a great experience. We did partner. We have a cardiologist that is going to look up a few that we found some heart issues with, but they're going to take care of that, and she's going to do that free of charge for them. Although the only pediatric cardiac surgeon in the country was killed in a car wreck the week we were there. So pray that someone steps up and takes his place. And pray that people continue to give to this mission. It's growing leaps and bounds. And God is working down there, and God is working here in our hearts and in our area, because, well, God is good all the time. But I just think that by doing this, it's allowed me to see that God has a plan for us all. We may not know it, and we may not believe it, and we may not see what He has in store for us. But when He says go, and He says to do something, answer that call. Okay, somebody else.
Y'all got anybody else want to say anything? You do? Her girl, but she's one of the teenagers. No, I'm just kidding. We had to keep up with her at the airport. That was fun.
I won't tell them the story about you.
No. What happens in Honduras State?
That's right. I'm so thankful that I got to go on this trip. I really felt God calling me, placing me in this position to serve there. I've always loved missions, but this was the first time that I had gone on an international mission, and I loved it. I enjoyed it. It was so spiritual, I think it is the word, humbling to serve those people. I enjoyed, I'll tell you one thing, on Saturday morning we had Bible school. That was the day to have Bible school. And I walked out in front of the building, the church building, and I looked down that dirt road, rocky dirt road, and there came a whole group of children walking to Bible school. They were so happy. They were so thrilled to be coming to Bible school. They might have gotten a little rowdy during the day. I don't know about that, but I just thought, compared that to our home, to here, we're going to be having Bible school, and how important it is for us to really reach out in Bible school and meet our kids here as well as those down there. And Alan Gardner is not here, but I wanted him to know that I got to be the pharmacist, and I'm planning on trying to take over his job. I don't know. But I really enjoyed it, and I hope that I'll be able to go back again in March. Another thing I want to say about those homes, the people were so thankful, so thankful. And you might not think, well, that little house is not much, but when you've lived in a shack, but you can appreciate that, and they were real appreciative of it. And they were so loving to us and so kind to us. And I wished everybody could go and serve. And I hope you'll be able to sometimes. And I've got a lot of stories, but I probably shouldn't tell all of them anyway.
I brought some notes because I'm not a speaker and I'm nervous about getting up here, but I'm so thankful that I got to go on this trip. It was life-changing for me. And every week when I come to this church, you just have no idea what a blessing you are to me. And I want to share my experience about Honduras, but I also want to tell you how much I love you and I appreciate you. My whole life, you've been there for me. It's been 40 years since I've been to church here. We've been gone for a long time. And every Sunday I sit in church and I think how incredibly blessed I am to be here, how the Lord brought me here for such a time as this, and how that I didn't even realize that I would be going to Honduras. Between my sister-in-law and hearing you guys talk about it here, I just knew it was my time to go. My kids had gone on trips when they were younger, and we let them go with the church, but I never got to go, and I always wanted to. And the people there were just wonderful. They were so loving and kind, and everything that Miss Helen said, the services, just seeing the kids coming down to Bible school, all the things. But one of my favorite things there was when we were all in church together, and we started singing the song, The Goodness of God. And we were singing it in English and they were singing it in Spanish. But we were all singing with our heart and to the Lord. So we were all there together. And I just imagine that that's the way it's going to be in heaven. And I know one other thing I wanted to share with y'all. Many years ago, I gave my life to the Lord right here at this altar. And I've never, ever forgotten it. And there's been many times that I've tried to make my will fit my life. And I'm so thankful that the Lord has a better plan for my life. I'm thankful for each one of you. I'm thankful that I got to go, had so much fun with everybody. I look around and we shared a bond that can never be broken now. One of my favorite things is being in the van together and all of us singing Victory in Jesus and difference when we all get to heaven. And I loved being with the people there in Honduras. Their hugs are unlike anything. They just hold on and they feel you can just feel their love for you, and they're so thankful for everything that you give them. They're grateful. And I'm so thankful that we got to go, and I'm thankful that I got to be a part of it with you guys. Thank you.
These have been hard acts to follow. But when we sung that song, when we all get to heaven, a while ago, those people, you would think they were in heaven. You didn't hear nobody complain. They were so happy to see you and so outgoing. I love it. I've been some places in this world that's not that gratitude for you. And we thought we was helping them. But now these people, they were there. I mean, I cannot even start to explain how it makes me feel. When we got out of the van and out of the truck, we was kind of crowded going when they picked us up at the airport. It was a long ride. And when I seen them little kids run and hug my daughter and tell her how much they missed her, and this is right back here, all of us, it's amazing. You can't put it, yeah, those are pretty pictures. And they're great. But right here's where it's at. It's right there with them. Those people make you feel. I've never felt so humble in my life. And when I heard the story about this lady at the last church we dedicated that we went to, that the program has built, she was in her 90s. Now, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but she walked to church. And when the church that was there or wherever she was going, which she had to sit down on her bottom and go down the mountain. Okay? She couldn't walk. And when she would go home, she was on her hands and knees and crawling. And we got people that can't even walk a block. That's too far to go to Bible school. I can tell you a little story about my dad. When I was growing up, and he become a policeman here in Crossville, he moved us to First Baptist Church. And I was 8, 9 years old. I said, Dad, why'd you do that? We went to Mount Flat all these years. He said, this way, son, if I'm tied up with something, y'all can walk to church. And we did, and stuff. And it's been a marvelous life. I've had a great one. And seeing you people out here, it's a blessing to be able to do what we done. And I'm planning on going again. And I had told my daughter that I was going to go with her on one of the trips. and her mom had some bad health issues during some of the time, and I was afraid to go. Well, here's how I went. One day she called me, and she started asking me some pertinent questions. Okay? I said, what does all this pertain to? She said, well, I just ordered your ticket to Honduras. Now, that's funny, but I thought, well, I guess I'm going to Honduras. And that was a rewarding phone call. You know, we all say we're going to do this stuff, don't we, preacher? We all say we're going to be there, or we're going to do it. But sometimes we need just a little push. And I got my push. And I don't regret it. And when we go back, I hope the good Lord with me and I can go again. Because it's such, to go down there and represent us. When I say us, our churches and stuff. And these people, you know, $4 a day is about what some of them that's working out there where we were at, they might make $4 a day. But you don't hear them complaining. I'm serious. I'm serious. You know, they take, and they're so proud. They're proud people. They don't hold their head down. They're proud people when they're talking to you. Or when we're building them little houses. Okay, somebody said, well, that ain't much of a house. I said, but you see what they've been living in? When there's 2 or 3 families living in this 2-room rock thing with practically a dirt floor. Is that right? No running water. You know, I get aggravated when my hot water heater don't like. Or if my power goes out. They ain't got no power. They don't have power. They don't have a microwave. And 140-something, 50-something children for Bible school. I know we had our hands full that day. And they were so happy. And you could look. And some of them kids would probably walk 3 miles or better. Barefooted or whatever. But they come to hear the message. And I'm not a good speaker. I'll be the first to do. And my son kept asking me, said, Dad, you got your speech together. And I thought of something today. Coach Bobo was my coach when I was a senior. And he'd probably be the first one to tell you that I'm a shoot from the hip type person. I thought of things to write down, but after following them 3, that'd be hard to do. I just wanted to talk from my heart. And I love all you guys, and I appreciate it. And I got a couple friends here from over in Cherokee County. He and I worked together with the military for years and years. Activated for Desert Storm, but fortunately it ended about 2 days before we were supposed to leave. But those people over there, and I've been there before and know, but these people here in Honduras, I want us to help them, be with them. I don't mean I want them to become dependent upon us. That's our problem in this world today. We got too many people that want but not willing to do it. But these people they don't have nothing to work with. So that's all I got to say. I love all you guys and appreciate your time.
Anybody else want to say anything? Jaylee, you want to say anything? Well, good. Well, come up here.
Yeah.
me to tote you like I had to down there?
No, it's okay. I got it this time. Don't worry. I'm not a big talker, so I'll keep this really short. You know, I don't have anything prepared to say. But overall, I'll admit, when we were first planning this trip, I was not really keen on going. I got there Thursday, and I cried and bawled my eyes out that whole first night wanting to go home because I was so nervous about what was going to happen, who I was going to talk to, would I really even enjoy any of it. And I'll say that's one of the times I've been the most wrong about something in my life, because I went into that thinking I was going to hate it, it was going to be awful, I wasn't going to have any friends to talk to. But I went through that, and I met people down there. I couldn't speak Spanish or anything, but I was able to communicate through laughing and motions, and more than I thought I'd be able to with anyone there. And overall, God blessed so many people through that. And I'm so thankful for the opportunity I got to go, and for Mom making me stay, even though I wasn't quite sure about it. And I'm thankful for all the people that came with us and everyone that I got to meet and know on that trip. I might need a little help down. I'm a little less keen on going downstairs.
Got it, Ray. Y'all did notice that Paula said something about riding in a van, and in that picture y'all see me in the back of a truck. They let me in the van for some reason. I don't know why. But, first thing I want to say is and I told Tennille that she gets emotional, and I usually get emotional, but I've cried through this as far as, so I'm going to try to not cry tonight. But first of all, I want to say this was a life-changing trip for me. I've always been reluctant to do anything like this, and because of anxiety, fear, worry, but that started to change just a few months ago, and I don't even remember the full sermon, but Brother Chris was talking about, he had a sermon one morning, and again, I can't remember what it was about. It was about taking action. It was about, he preaches about the gospel all the time. And one of the things that he said that morning, I actually wrote down on a piece of paper, and I've still got it in my Bible. But he said, we can't stay on the east side. And I got to thinking about that, and I got to studying about it, and I got to looking at it and reading about what he was talking about. And in that, he was talking about, I think it was Gad and half of one of the tribes of Manasseh, and then I can't remember the other one, Reuben. Those three tribes, those half of the tribe and those other two tribes, they chose to stay on the east side of the Jordan because they seen it was good for their cattle. They seen they already had their cities built. They had their houses built. They had all these things ready. God had a promised land that he was going to provide for them, more land than they could ever imagine. But they chose to stay on the east side. They chose the easy. They chose the idea that they wasn't going to go do something. They were going to stay right there. And of course Moses told them, you got to go fight. But they left their livestock and their women and children in the cities, and they did go and fight. But I got to thinking to myself, they didn't receive the full glory of the promised land because they chose the easy. And that was I just felt that. And that's what we do a lot of times. We get content in the things that we're doing. I got content in coming to church on Sunday mornings and Wednesday nights and, teaching Bible school and doing those things. And I needed to do something different. Last year when Tennille talked about going and doing this, it was, it was something that I never thought I would do. And I never realized I would do it. And then all of a sudden she comes up with this trip. And I appreciate her, and I've grown to love her to a point that she has a heart for these children. I played with them in Bible school that day. We didn't speak the language. I think it was Jerry said that night, he said, we didn't know their language. We didn't understand their language. I was trying to catch some names and all this kind of stuff. And it wasn't about that. It was about us having fun. It was about us sharing God's love through our actions. And that's what I think we want to, look at that angel. Did y'all see that angel? She just had to have her picture made, but she wasn't tall enough to get to the wing, so we found her a box. So, yeah, I was going to say I don't want to. Right, what happens in Honduras stays in Honduras. But I was thinking about the mission, and I was thinking about what are missions? What are missions for? And a lot of times we think about missions as doing for others. We think about missions as doing good for others. And what I learned in this trip was this was more for me than it was for anybody else. This was more for me than it was for anybody that we touched. The 4 houses that we built, those gentlemen and those families that received those houses, they had worked. In order to receive a house, you have to work for the house. So all of them had worked on houses for all this time. 138 houses. Now, they haven't all worked on all those houses. But to get your house, you have to work on a house. That's part of the process. And so every one of these gentlemen and our families that received these houses had worked on a house. And they had the last guy that we did, it was as touching as a thing that I've ever witnessed. We literally built a house in the middle of 4 houses, 4 shacks. They weren't houses, they were shacks. And you would have never, this guy was the most proud individual to have a 16 by 16 wood framed house with about that much of a gap because, he was as tickled as anything. So it wasn't about, what I learned, it wasn't about the good that I could do or the actions that I could do. It was what I gained out of it. And so, love, when we think about it, all this has to begin in our hearts. And that's what the Lord did to me. He put this love that for this group of individuals. I don't really know how to explain it. I really don't know. I was telling Tennille Sunday, it was really hard to get back into the swing of things because there was no TV, there was no distractions, there was opportunities to share with each other about what God had done that day. We sat under a pavilion every night, and we said, "Where did you see God today? Where did you see Jesus working today?" And everybody had an example of where God was working, not only in the lives of the people that we were there to serve, but our lives and our testimonies and the things that we did. It's one of the things that when I really got to thinking about it, we become caught up in being self-serving, of being just selfish a lot of times, just like Ray was talking about. It was one of those things that it was truly life-changing. And I had a bunch of notes written out, and we're even past normally where Chris preaches, so I'm not going to go through them. But I just want you to realize that if you go, you will be changed. You cannot come back the same way that you left. There's no way. There's too much love. If we treated each other, and if the world treated each other the way the Honduran people treated us, there would be no need for armies. Amen. There would be no war. There would be no bombs. There'd be no nothing. There wouldn't be any need for a military. They were the sweetest, most loving people that I've ever been a part of. And I couldn't speak the language. I was as lost as everybody else. But there was a spirit in every worship service, in every Bible study, in everything that we did. There was a spirit that this can't be explained. And I want I want to take the opportunity to thank Tennille. Miss Robin's with us. Robin Parrish, she went with us. She's from the Stamp Church. We had Mike Slayton, who was with Henniger Baptist. He went with us. Did a great job. Mike has a really strong testimony, and it was really good. Miss Karen went with us, Karen Bruce, and her and Miss Helen and all the ladies just loving on those kids. It was special, and I really don't know exactly how to explain it, other than to say, and I did write this as my final note. And just, I'll go back in March. So I plan on going back as soon as she starts buying tickets. I'll be the first to sign up, because it is life-changing to realize how little they have and how much love they show. And again, you can just look from some of the pictures. One of the most interesting nights to me, and I've told a couple of people this, I actually sent Jaylee the picture, but as you're going through, if you've seen a sunset, we're sitting in an open air church that they just fold the sides up on both sides, and so they've got fans, and you just let the air flow through, and it's still pretty hot, wasn't it? It's still pretty, it's still pretty muggy. But you hear that, you see that, you feel the Spirit. You see the Spirit, you feel the Spirit, and you look out to your left, and I sent a picture of a sunset, and the thought came to my mind. It's the same sunset that we see here. It's the same sun, but between me and that sunset was poverty. It's shacks. It's trash. It's not very good septic systems. It's not very good water systems. It's not very good electrical systems. Now, they did have electricity, some of them, but you could sit in a room, and y'all may remember it when we first came to the area as far as Marshall DeKalb goes. You sit in a house and the light goes, and then it would flare back up, and then it would flare back up. So voltage problems, but it was the sweetest. Everything between us and that sunset was despair in my mind. But behind us, there was 80 people, and they were worshiping the Lord. I don't know what they're saying, don't know what they're doing, but buddy, they were worshiping the Lord, and we just worshiped right along with them. Didn't know, Misa preached a sermon, and it was strange. It was really strange. If you went to Brotherhood last month or month ago, we talked about expectations, and one of the things that's really brought to mind was and Misa preached on it that night. about the lame man at the pool at Bethsaida. And, you know, his expectation was that Jesus Christ was going to help him get into the water. What he didn't realize was Jesus Christ was going to heal him that day. That wasn't his expectation, but that's what happened. My expectation on going to Honduras was I'll go down there and I'll do some good and I'll feel good about myself. It wasn't about me. It wasn't about us as a group. It was about the love of God that we were able to show a group of people that like Ray said, and it's all about just caring, just loving people, just loving people. Y'all seen the pictures, you know. Y'all know me, if I was a baby around or a kid around, I'm going to have them. And so, you know, I just had a ball. I had a ball. It was truly life-changing. So that's really all I've got. Anybody got anything else? Well, like Tennille said, I think we've got some dates set aside in March. So if you get an opportunity to go, you need to go. So.
Give them a hand, guys. I've heard a lot of missionary, but this is probably hands down one of the most interesting I've ever heard. So thank you guys so very much. Get with Tennille if you would like to go on the one in March. Is there any? We're going to do a quick business meeting, and then after that, we're all going to come down to the altar. We're going to have a special prayer for Coach Bobo. He's going tomorrow for procedure, so we're going to be praying for him tonight for tomorrow. Is there anything else before we go into our business meeting? All right. Do we need to go ahead. I know we got some visitors. If they want to stay, they're more than welcome to. If not, then I'll.
We don't go because we don't drive well after dark.
That's perfectly fine. I don't drive well either.